Aussie watchdog readies clampdown on Google, Facebook. Australia's competition watchdog is poised to call for far-reaching new regulations on Facebook, Google, and other tech giants, which could have global ramifications for how they make money and choose the content people consume. The Australian Competition and Consumer Commission's recommendations, if confirmed, would be among the strongest yet in a drive to rein in the power of digital behemoths amid a host of worldwide concerns ranging from antitrust issues to privacy abuse, and their role in spreading disinformation and hateful content. Following an 18-month inquiry into the power of digital platforms, the ACCC is due to issue its final report by June 30th. It is expected to include proposals for sweeping controls over tech companies' handling of personal data and their use of opaque algorithms to rank how they display advertisements, search results, and content. In a 328-page preliminary report issued in December, the ACCC had raised alarm over the substantial market power wielded by the likes of Google and Facebook, and notably the lack. The report focused particular attention on the huge impact Google and Facebook have had on Australia's news industry, with the number of newspaper and online journalists falling more than 20% since 2014 as digital advertising revenues were overwhelmingly captured by the two tech titans. While a set of preliminary proposals set out in the report, many of which are expected to figure in the final conclusions, include greater regulation over the handling of personal data, similar to Europe's General Data Protection Regulation (GDPR) introduced last year. It also called for new penalties for invasion of privacy and greater controls on merger and acquisition activity by the biggest digital firms. Growing power of big tech. One of its most radical suggestions is the creation of an algorithm review board to monitor the complex formulae used to deliver advertisements, and rank news content and referral services to news media. The ACCC said such a regulator was needed to ensure the big digital players do not favor their. ACCC Chairman Rod Sims has said regulatory authorities in the United States, Britain, Europe, and other areas are closely monitoring the outcome of the Australian inquiry as they all mull possible responses to the growing power of tech titans. Prime Minister Scott Morrison's government has already taken controversial steps targeting big tech, including introducing criminal penalties for executives of social media companies which permit the distribution of violent content on their platforms, and an unprecedented law forcing tech firms to help security services break encrypted communications. Tech companies have warned that enacting many of the ACCC's proposed recommendations would be impractical, or lead firms to simply avoid doing business in Australia. But, in an interview with 9 media newspapers ahead of the ACCC release, Bose cautioned that some of the watchdog's recommendations, on top of the government's earlier measures, could not only hurt the big players but have an even greater impact on startups and smaller firms with limited resources to meet new regulatory demands. She warned in particular against attempts to monitor and regulate algorithms, which she said constitute the
raindrop, drop top, smoking, no cooking the hot pot. Fucking on your bitch, yeah, that. Looking up, open the park pot.